Dear viewers, listeners with the hello everyone. Here is a surprise universe. I am a teacher fuheling. Greetings again here with you. Well, today, I want to say on the topic of Antarctica, also known as Antarctica. The area of Antarctica, it probably is, as I just mentioned, 5.4 million square miles, the equivalent of 14 million square kilometers. Then its area is about how much it we know. In addition to this, outside of our Asia, so is North America, South America. That again is Africa. Then it is the 5th largest. Australia is the 6th, bigger than Australia. Then again is Oceania, a total of 7 continents. It's the size of it. Australia 2 times. United States 1.5 times bigger than the United States. The United States with Mexico probably should add up to the sum of the little freshmen. Of course, that Britain is 50 times bigger. That's the most northern half of the Antarctic Peninsula. It has the most northern Antarctic Peninsula, is now the most northern Argentina. That is, southern South America, Argentina, connected to that corner to corner. Then the entire continent inside. About 98% of the local. The thickness is to be noted. 1.9 kilometers of ice cover. So this area is quite large. This is the latest good news here. This is February 6th this year. The northern end of the Antarctic. Where is the extreme northern end of the south in it? The northern end in this place. The southern tip of Argentina with local contact. In this place the red dot. It's how many degrees the temperature out of it. It's temperature 18.3 degrees. Then we Taipei weather. A few days before it is even lower than 18.3 degrees. Some of it is even higher than the temperature in Taipei. This is from 1961 too. History. So this table inside. US NASA satellites to do it. We look to the right of the chart. It is this side of the bottom line. Red represents the higher the temperature the more. Blue represents the lower the temperature the more. So it is representative of the Antarctic. Northern cusp is the highest temperature. Look, highest temperature 18.3 degrees occurred here, then along the edge of its coast. Along its coast. In particular, the following. We see Ross Ice Shelf south below. Ross Ice Shelf below the red dots. That is a red ice shelf. I refer to as the finger. This probably refers to just above. Basically this place. United States is now looking at it. I wait first film. Ross Ice Shelf is to give priority to this triangle. Walk around the triangle from the south. From inside look at the ecological Antarctic. Then of course, there are a lot of red dots on it along the way. But not many. But we see red, it says. On the mainland, or an increase in thickness of the ice shelf, and over the edge of loss. It says there is an increase in melting, but it increases the thickness of the also to be far greater than the edge loss. The reason that it is still investigating. Well, now we take a look. The Ross Ice Shelf just below. It has 2 ice shelf or ice shelf. Here is also a Ross Ice Shelf above. 2 ice shelf. So just above the Antarctic Peninsula. There is a little big Larsen Ice Shelf. So the focus now will be placed. The Larsen Ice Shelf at present, most of the melting piece by piece. Again is the Ross Ice Shelf. Piece by piece and melted. Before the current TV. We have seen Larsen Ice Shelf. Well, today we might focus on Ross Ice Shelf. So I want to tell you this picture. The area of ice that have written above it. The scarlet letter ice. 44.5 million years ago began to freeze. Until 34 million years ago. The ice slowly began. Extinction event starts. The concentration of carbon dioxide and up to 760 ppm. That ppm is parts per million. Inside every 1 million parts per 760 grams of carbon dioxide. So basically we from now. At present, our specification is 350 ppm. We hope it will not exceed 350 ppm. So basically now has more than 400 ppm. But we still hope that it will fall. But in that year, 34 million years ago was 760 ppm. So why? So it began to melt, the ice melt. But refinancing does. Will not see borders. Okay, this picture. Do a main speaker on this place. Now that we first look at A. First film, Ross Ice Shelf is, United States to use several years. Millions use group data. The Ross Ice Shelf entire shot down. This is an. See, this is an isolated island cold, a continent. This from McMurdo. McMurdo is the place. Now this place is McMurdo. From this place McMurdo Station. From this place we go down. So McMurdo Station is on the beachfront runway. Note the waterfront. Now go down south. It has a landing airport. That a piece of the black. Scientists then slowly. Scientists around the world, in this case cooler. To take us this. Ice sheet above the key places. Ice sheet. Now down to sea no. The ice shelf is now down. That icy place. What we see Ross Ice Shelf. So we now use telemetry technology. American scientists have spent many years. The use of the data. It took some video of Ross Ice Shelf. Then each pixel. The resolution is 15 meters. The resolution is 15 meters. Very, very high. This is the history we see. Antarctic Ross Ice Shelf near that piece. You see most clearly is that the ice. Note that this is black ice. Note that black ice. Well, this few people over here. From 1820 no one. No one has been after 1820. That this which we can see a lot of. No ice place. Also see where there is ice. And this is very much ice. A mysterious zone. You see now left coast. This coast, this ice sheet extends directly to coast. Well, this is an extreme place. 7 states have the highest mountain inside. Driest, coldest, windiest. But also the brightest places here. Here are McKay. The glacier ice. Then slowly down from glacier. We take this place. You can see the ice shelf extends. Then see the ice. Basically from 1999 to 2001. All in all data sets there. Then combine the use of 2D with 3D. Turned into a 3D image. That Cape Roberts. Cape Roberts is they are a point. This is their previous expedition stationed a point. That we now walk slowly from the inside. Go up along the inland ice. Actually see its diversification. See mountains, plains. Meanwhile Marble Point. The Marble Point. They had a base. Marble Point left. The base is just over the angle at that. Just no ice cover too. This is from a 1907 base. Then slowly out of view. The most prominent of which is that it has glaciers. Did not see this glacier. The glacier is quite large, quite glacier. Basically this is called the Ferrer Glacier. You've been watching Ferrer. Ferrer has been extended down. You can see the glacier. Here there is a large area. This is the wind blowing the valley. Have cleared away the snow valley. So if he did not see snow, that in reality it is moving glaciers. So glacier is moving ice. As time went, it slowly deformed. When thousands of years of snow, plot of land on the side of the time, it formed the ice. The last snow ice compression. Density high enough to form ice glaciers. Then with increasing thickness of the ice glaciers, it slowly down the stream flowing down to sea no. Right next to the left to the right by the left downstream. After flow, then scattered on flat land. Finally, the ice sheet has been extended in. It is the coastline of the southern coastline, under the effect that they found it. Antarctica is a turning point in the whole glacier. It has the world's 33 million cubic kilometers of ice. Then this place it accounted for 90%. You see now is from bottom to top. Ross Ice Shelf from bottom to top slowly. Empty Lister has been up. Glacier obvious signs. Is its flowing lines, etc. Few people can experience the glacier. Then this movie you can see the glacier. Black is the land. White is the glacier. You see the whole glacier down. Note that you see the blue water. The strong wind blue. The water is blue. Why did I just say black? This is a blue water. Blue water it. The ice absorb a small amount of red light inside the small particles of snow. But this blue ice. You see all the blue, because blue ice crystals formed by the larger particles. So show blue. So it absorbs red light after. But obviously reflected in blue. You see the whole are blue ice. Cape chocolate angle. Well slowly down. The film is to have 4 minutes and 50 seconds. You see this is to say represents ice. Okay, good down directly from the. This movie just show up. Raw see this one. That is, I just below the figure now. I walk around it whole. From the whole of the south below. Has been going up to the top right side up and then down. McMurdo Station on the whole in this place. Well, we are talking about I just say that figure right. Everyone to read, it is ice-free. All is not thawed. But 1513, this Palilicide a map. Since 1820. Antarctic by Russian soldiers found. Russian Navy found that there is such a map in 1513. I give you see, we all know. This is the 1513 Turkish admiral, called the Palilicide. He hold the hands of such a map. It is said that this map. This is the 2nd century AD. Map Alexander era. Later this map to where? To Alexander the Great. King Alexander. Collection in the Library of Alexandria. The library was later a fire burned. This figure was put out. Later removed, spread to Turkey. 1513 results. Turkey will get by this. This is a cowhide in animals. Or above a painting fig sheepskin. Then we noticed. My main point is the following sentence. I now place this figure shows. Is Antarctica Queen Maud land? Notes that this place is called New Swabia. If we want to pull out a lot of this behind. Wonderful story. I now put this picture together with it. Do you see it? I put this figure standing in that place. Now this ancient Turkish map. Is the Queen Maud area above? I have stacked on top of OK. Have been stacked on top is this FIG. Its location is like this, and it is very clear coastline. This 1513. How there is such a thing happen then? Even in the year 2000, when Greece also did not melt when it saw. It is indicated says. This is not before the Greeks. At that time no ice melt. But I talked about above. The ice is melting is not more than 40 years ago. That is not to say that has not been represented in the melting ice. Ice has not frozen. That is Antarctica. No icing is shaded time. Drawn map of this coastline. This piece of land, including the Queen. So that's who painted it we do not know. So this is the Antarctic. The first point of mystery. The first point of the Antarctic mystery. Okay, let's talk about. The second paragraph just talking about 1820. There are so a map. I speak now, 1820 to 1958. This is Russia's Vostok. There are so two people. There were two Russian generals in 1820. Soldier, they were riding the Vostok. Queen landed this piece of land where the red. I just said that place. So after it landed. Okay, it even if Russia log in. He did not do a lot of other things. Here's one of his landing craft. Like a sailboat. Then a good start to Germany. This is a German boat. In front of a can. Two planes can take off from above. It left the boom. Can be hung above the plane. Crane to a suitable location. Here's the way the plane took off. The ship is called Schwabenland. Schwabenland ship. The ship Schwabenland. In 1939-1938 to 39 years. Germany was third Antarctic expedition. It is also above two seaplane. Called Passat. Called Boreas. This two seaplane. Have left number 17 December 1938. Sailed from Hamburg secret. Having carried the 82 individuals. There are two seaplane. Germany followed the fleet of whalers. Together to stop. This position with 69 degrees west longitude 4 degrees. We know that we at 60 degrees or less. We called the Antarctic Circle. Beyond 60 degrees is not the Antarctic Circle, so he only did part. To around 69 degrees, the ship then called the Swabian No. So in 1939 February 6th. Because it is the first time in 69 degrees, not to the Arctic Circle, the second will reach the Arctic Circle, meanwhile on April 11th of that year. Once again, then spent more than a month. Back to Germany. Then it is this place. Called the Queen Maud Land. Then also known as New Swabia. This picture was 1938. So it took the whole of Germany captain. You see through this leather jacket. Basically it should be military, have not seen wearing a cap. Basically all soldiers. In 1938 to 1939 time. This picture was taken in 1938. The second of his success. From the Antarctic back into the Antarctic. Then come back so near took a photo. Note that this is 1939. Well, then come back after this time. After 1939, then the captain. It is through this Air Force commander. Because there are 2 Air Force aircraft above, with Hitler's Germany report. Left this picture. Green is the leftmost marshal. Then the middle dressed in black. This is the commander of the Navy. Is amplified above me this picture. Then he reported with Hitler. Then the whole of his Air Force. Aerial photographs of 35 million square kilometers of area. The entire Antarctic search again. Is not the whole Antarctic. Most of the Antarctic should be. Well, this first phase completed. Made 2 expeditions. The second stage it. This whole thing is given to Admiral Karl Donitz, called U-Boat Command. Note that this is not the first time the boat, U-boat submarine is there. Their submarine. These 2 pictures is to see Hitler. At that time Admiral. The second phase featured presentations due time. He shook hands with the middle. Is that Admiral Karl Donitz this person? Well, this time it. These 2 is the U-boat, he said the Admiral. This is the Admiral talk, he told Admiral. He said that my ship found on Earth. True paradise. Paradise. Paradise, real paradise. In particular, he spoke these words, the data are in good, so then what? Hitler's special reward on top of this. All officers. And this Admiral told him, he said. Translated into English is what we have done. We reached the top of another world. We went to another point on the world. This is Hitler. Cadres on board with them every handshake. Well, then the following. They found this too. Statistics show that time they may have found the following to the Antarctic ice. Is not likely to have such a lake. Temperature is only 18 degrees, we do not know, but there is this legend. And then according to this scientist, scientific research in Germany, because he went throughout scientists, streamed thousands of years the whole underground. Cut out a lot of underground ice road. Look below the black. That is, it rocks. Below that is the ocean. The bottom of the blue ice ocean. Sea level is then slowly sea level. Then think all are on the horizon ice. Here there is water ice. Notes that there is water ice below. Lake Vostok is the right information research. This information is out of Lake Vostok. I put the 2 together. This means that the sea water below. Then the top end of the ice water. Ice air. So thousands of years of warm. To cut out about ice road underground. Is not that time Germans have discovered. And said that the ice track of it underground submarine. Because it is 2 U-boat to go. Submarine can be by the shore. From the coast of the Antarctic edge. Slowly find this channel. And then this is a natural haven. And is a best nothing frozen. Submarine base. Is not German have been found. From all the information just. Display is not that he had discovered. Then in 1939. The Germans set up a base 211. Well, this is just a peace tug. Above is the 2 planes, Nazis in 1939. Maybe back later in April. April to the end of the year. Set up a base 211. Then continue the important special equipment. The important research unit. What is most important? A large number of scientists to this place. Where to? Went to the Queen Maud land. Empress Mao to this place. Through go from this place. This place just looked an hour. Just north of the first movie just. The film we see is just south. Ross Ice Shelf. Now this place is just north of this place. A large number of scientists to this place. From there ashore, so this place does speak particularly. There is a known Fimble Ice Shelf. There is a Fimble Ice Shelf. That is that place the Scarlet Letter. The Scarlet Letter that place. This is probably after the Queen Maud land coast. About 200 kilometers long, 100 kilometers wide this place. This place is one of 6 major Antarctic ice shelf. The ice shelf yet. 1938 and 1939. The German expedition found. It was not that they take advantage of this ice shelf. Von Boer ice shelf. From here, into their base. Build their base 211. At the same time, the most northerly red top. Is that Fimble ice shelf position? Of course, this is of course ice shelf, extending out of the ice. Extending away slowly put coastline. This will form an ice shelf, so just below the Ross ice shelf. Then the above is the Larsen ice shelf. The angle on. So our ice shelf, they are 1939, 1938, it has been found to the ice shelf, then U-boat over there to establish a base 211 this base, so a large number of scientists, and a large number of engineers. In 1942 this place into a large number of, do not know. This number is then spread out. They scientists, all dressed in black wool coat, wearing a hat because cold. Then take advantage of all the ship, all the northern tip of the Antarctic into the ground Empress Mao. That this good later after World War II. After the war the United States will recruit engineers in Germany to the United States to work. They have a post-war results. A list of American scientists. The results found a look. A lot of people are not on the list. Including submarines have not seen 100. I do not know where to go. So this thing the United States on fire. So by the end of 1946, the United States also aware the disappearance of so many scientists, thousands of scientists, and 100 submarine. So this is the cause. Late 1946 Richard E. Byrd. That is, Admiral Richard Beuve. Famous action is called high jump. Then the action I have said many times. I am simply passing. For 8 months. Time 1946. U.S. Secretary of the Navy James Forrester. This man is quite famous. I used to say when he talked about his UFO. This man is very famous. He later because the United States Majestic Sir. One of noble plan of 12 people. Later, the man jumped off to die. Suicide death. Then that person is the Secretary of the Navy at the time. Then he asked him to take command of a team. This is very famous Admiral Byrd. He brought a large naval force. Simply part. He surfaced from everyone on the web. I am following a URL. See on the web is that he go on a safari. With the expedition adventure. But his main purpose. It is said that more than 4,000 people. 13 ships 33 aircraft. I hit the back of the Antarctic expedition ? Or destroy Nazis in Antarctica. Mysterious Base 211. It is our guess that we guess. His December 1946 number 31. To reach the Ross Sea. I was just talking about. Bottom place. Then half the area of the United States. He put the entire Antarctic, half of the airborne reconnaissance, at the same time find out new mountains, and the eastern coastline of Antarctica. The entire walk again. This was these photos of his aircraft carrier. Aircraft on the aircraft carrier photo. This was in 1946, when his own. I see him with a periscope above. See the following is the sea aerial. Sailing his boat in the water a few traces. February 26, 1947. There was a war. We pay attention to see. These people see some very strange aircraft. Look up. I do not know what it is. December 31, 1946. They arrived in the Ross Sea. At the same time, the size of half of the area of the United States. Antarctica do air search. Then saw something. It has a pilot. I am following these words. Is this John Sirson? John Shilson. This is a pilot. He had spoken words. He said they flew vertically. He said he saw a thing. Fly directly out of the water up. Perpendicular to the vertical fly. Fly to where the ship flew above. Then the speed of it. To fly up between I blink. I do not know what they looked. He said I did not have time to blind an eye. He said I could not even have time to blink too late. Go up on the fly. Then this is the time that the ship left. The right of it because I did not put this movie. Because the first time is too long. This film is the second Russian. So although it is translated into English, but because of copyright issues, it can be said that free download. But then I went and cannot find it. So I put this video. This picture is I used to stay. Photos I put at this paragraph. this particular picture to cut it out. Then he said that they have 2 boats. Another 2 boats. The pilot. At that time he was the top number in Casablanca. He said he saw. He said there is a very mysterious light to break out from the UFO play out. Then put the aircraft knocked out. They landed in front of the ship. This is in front of him drowning. Boat hit the water in front of them. Then followed it. He said he number Casablanca. See things is to see what photos. He said I did not understand. I did not understand. I do not understand. This objects. He said the ship. This object between our boat. What moment do this action? Simply because the fast response, however. He said this kind of thing seems. See this laser. He said that after playing out a radiation ray, this is what he saw black metal. I do not know what, when he saw it emits a light. That the plane fell into the water. He said the boat fell into the water. That boat sinking, then the ship sank after it. The man fell in the water. To save them by boat. Get them up. This is the time to save the situation. Laser light that is left to play out. I do not know is a schematic. Or when coming out of a documentary. Then they save this. The crew come up with, throughout the whole 20 minutes. Then they said. They say that this UFO. Nazi Germans do. I do not know hit a question mark. They later have a review report. Then there are stresses review report. These 512,345. These 5 things. That appeared in the review report which. Well then we have seen this picture. This is the map, that this time it. This photo is the movie, when the German scientist. Most Americans have been. Redstone Arsenal in Alabama State. The start of construction of the V-2 rocket. V-2 rocket. Von Braun is among the youngest of time. He has 2 pictures. One is behind a back. That the flat haircut very high. He looked back when I did this photo. Next to that is wearing a black jacket. I think they're secret police head. The head of the SS. Then this is they are doing experiments V2. They took a picture. So this. After the 20-minute war is over. The Admiral Byrd. In the Mount Olympus of No Expeditionary Force Command. Accepted a visit of INS. So part of the content appears in Chilean newspaper on Wednesday, March 5, 1947. The newspaper. We can be found on the internet this section. In this period it inside wiki. I was down from the top copy. He said that this action discussed at the meeting. He learned a lesson. Admiral Byrd warned today. He is meeting with the reporter warned. The United States should take protective measures. Prevent from polar regions. Hostile aircraft invaded the country. He did not say he was planes UFO. At that time I did not say so in red. The Admiral simply say. He does not want to scare anyone. But the harsh reality is, if a new war may be subject to United States aircraft a pole or 2-pole attack. He is a very diodes or diode Antarctic. Is his ability to quickly, from pole to pole and back again. So call the pole or 2-pole. The planes of attack. He planes. Then I added the most important is that the main S. It is not an airplane. It has a lot of aircraft. This is a discussion he will be inside. The Admiral Byrd. In 1955 and 1956. He also participated in a project. This is his last one plan, called the Deep Freeze Plan. I had this Deep Freeze Plan. The last time I talked about the US President. To do this business space. A vision of time. President Eisenhower is to. In 1955 to 1957 to 58 years. The establishment of a International Geophysical Year. International Geophysical Year. The United States has a publication called International Geophysical Year. This magazine in 1957 and 1958, all in 12 months. In the introduction to the United States to participate in this sounding rocket program, then the Byrd. Just participating in the project, at the same time reached the South Pole again. The establishment of a U.S. base of McMurdo. This is what we just saw the first movie. McMurdo base inside. The airport. Is the base. This movie is just that some say. So I did that movie. Why the first place? He is also a last visit to the South Pole. So mark the United States in Antarctica. will establish a permanent military forces begin. This is not what I say. This is a wiki talk. Bird at the South Pole just spent a week. February 3 RD 1956 returned to the U.S. Note that the following. So in 1957, heart attack, died in November. I wrote at the age of 68 years old, scarlet letter. Okay, this section. What I call the second paragraph. Finally, this photo. Admiral commemorate the great. This is majestic in 1955, the British bow. This photo was in National Geographic Inside. Made a detailed report is a color photograph. Then this article. There was a monthly publication called The Gleaner. Pick on the ground that the issue of Ear Gleaner, now gone, is a very good one magazine. This magazine cover. This is a picture with the theme of so. I left word that is very important to see. Antarctic Treaty signed by 12 countries in 1959. Then signed by 38 countries. Express what to say. First, Antarctica without any military activity. Must not have any nuclear test explosions, as well as any active radiation. As well as Antarctica does not belong to any one country. It is for peaceful purposes, because in this 1959, before 1960-1961, the world has we see the internet road, have a map. This is Norway, that British States map. He said the United States found a lot of countries, signed such an association set. He said that no country has the power. But we will be able to use the Antarctic. It's in there, then speak out. Well, followed the 1964, I put He said that sounds a lot like this ship. Explore the science to do this 4 weeks in Antarctica. Discussion above a thing out. We see. This picture was USNS. U.S. Navy photo. Elton in photo. What this picture? Elton in what it? Arctic Circle saw no. 60-degree Arctic Circle. That is the yellow circle. Inside, that is, Ross Ice Shelf. I just turned it in Ross. And the south of the Ross Ice Shelf has a point. At that point the top. In this place it. The United States made a Navy probe, 1850 tons of Navy. Nor is it just that there is a Navy ship. Icebreaker ship is called the Eltonin. But the U.S. Navy in 1957. It is a signed Navy ship. In 1962 it was decommissioned. It is classified as a Navy research vessel. Marine research vessel, is also the world's first. Specializes in the research vessel Antarctic expedition. It shines a photo. 3904 meters on the seabed. Well, this picture is displayed inside. There is a mast of a pole. Like radio antenna, notice. Is not like a radio antenna, set 3,904 meters above sea bottom position. I do not know what is it. Do not know. August 29, 1964. U.S. Navy icebreaker, shine a thing. Then this photo. After shooting like tower. The picture. Later in New Zealand. The researchers of UFO. It took this photograph copy. Sent to a space of a famous American. Is an engineer called Honeywell Aerospace. Then asked him to look at. Then he said the results of this place. He receives a possible conclusion. He said the mysterious underwater tower is a measure of the earthquake. Activity sensor signal transfer device. May establish that the alien. They aid in the installation. Deepest undersea place signaled. Then he did not know what to do use. This is a story occurred in 1964. It is also very good again for magical. 1983 to 1997. U.S. Air Force called execution. Antarctic rescue mission with flight. So does this rescue mission? January 2, 2015 Earth Files. Earth Files is a famous American, devoted to UFO with that. The story of a strange sight. Then the editor of this site. Receiving. Served for 20 years in March 1997. A retired naval officer, a letter from a Navy engineer. He said he went to 1997 in 1983. In this VXE-6 squadron of service. The purpose of the service, cargo is carried in Antarctica. And rescue personnel transport. He had a fantastic experience with the extraordinary. He is the number of hours flown more than 4,000 hours. He stressed that there. The air sampling camp. In one place the air to collect camp. This position. He said they used navigation, and electrical failure. As with all electronic equipment, here all fail. It's unknown for what reason, but this place. Then they talk with the United States CIA. This place you cannot go. But because they cannot rescue mission, he must go into that place. So he jotted down this story. This is the story that the actual board of the newspaper on this article. So it's not my empty mouth to say, this is actually a feature to have a witness. So this photo. This is 1983 to 1997 photos. Then he retired after. The US government also sent him a thank him in the Antarctic. See any blue word, in the Antarctic service. Top right is called the Davis Station. Why? Because he was from Africa. Some save a lot of refugees. Then I just talked to Ross Ice Shelf bottom left. Ross Ice Shelf bottom left. Placed a red dot of most southern. Then flew to New Zealand. And then by plane from New Zealand airport. Then back to the United States or elsewhere. His task in this. Then the middle. His right from Davis Station. Be sure to go through this ridge. Antarctic Ridge. He must go through this mountain, after this mountain to be able to reach the following. Then after the mountain where it. Because of this route. He must go through the top of the central point of McMurdo. That is the Antarctic pole. There's a hole next to pole. See no hole. He saw a very strange hole. This hole unfathomable, I do not know what. Then after this ridge when. See a lot of silver frisbee. In this place frisbee, and this place has a glacier. I just tell you not ice. So why should I just put that film? This glacier is in the photo just inside. It has appeared but did not get. At the edge of the ice, he saw a lot of silver discs. Okay, so the first paragraph videos, we must take a careful look at. And then this first mission. The second task it. He was the last group of scientists. This scientist missing scientists. He scientist to this place. Across on the far left. This place pork on a skewer. Scientists sent here after they are gone. 2 weeks later they came back to pick up. And then to McMurdo base. Then from here. What fly back down to fly back to New Zealand. The scientist came back 2 weeks later. Face simply scared, shaking hands. And pale. What words do not say. He did not know what. So he took this time, with saucers seen down. As part of his mandate. This is a point that is the implementation of his mandate. Do you see it? From Davis C. No. And then take these scientists. From scientists to the. Then fly back below. And then from there flew to New Zealand. This is roadmap. Then he points in the middle 2 forks. See a lot of strange things. Even now he still bear a grudge. So he put this matter. Exposure in the United States. Earth files above this magazine. The top radio station to remind you. He has this to say strange experience. Well, this strange things are finished. That this is related to the map. Because he said. So married to a place they. He received a 10-week disappearance of several scientists. Simultaneously, then they look. Like a very frightened okay. Okay, now I came alive again. In addition, Dear Boo videos. So Dear Boo videos. It basically tells you. In the ice shed. Some features it appears. This means that these 2 ice shelf. It is now called the Pine Island Glacier. Talked about Pine Island Glacier, the Pine Island. These 2 did not see the glacier, is a before and after. 2 black is black. See a broken line. That is all line, slowly growing, become wider. And generating a second pole saw no, came out near the front of the Ross Ice Shelf. Then this is the following is from that. South America following the pullover, then this ice shelf has 2. This is Pine Island. Pine Island Glacier. He is afraid of melting, because this place melted. Sea levels will rise up, the water where it melted, will enter into this ice shelf below, then all flow to the sea inside. Then the sea slowly accumulated slowly, sea levels will rise, so their task. Ice Bridge called the Bridge Project. Implement this Ice Bridge Project in 2012. They studied 3 glaciers in Glacier 3. 3 glaciers look inside. How this kind of situation, they took the NASA has commandeered a DC-8. This is the DC-8 aircraft. Then DC-8 aircraft in the ice above. Now the ice above. Fly over 500 meters. Then slowly see no record of the following. Many pieces of ice cubes. Some have cracks. Has a melting. Then right down the ice. And then sent to major U.S. Space Center. NASA Space Center to analyze this data. Then there is a chief scientist named Kelly, a female scientist. She describes this ice shelf. Ice is thinning gradually. And it flows. The following flow rate is accelerating. It eventually you see what we see. That is, 2 black. Then the crack. This crack into a 2. This substantially crack. It will cause a lot of bad things. And next to it is another. A glacier. Glacier ice is not ice. That this change represents the source of the Antarctic. The impact of sea level rise will. Then now is that it's snowing. Continuous snow. The snow accumulation will result in a balance. But this balance, while of more than 80%. More than 80% of the time, you will find that Antarctica. This will be. It is landslides. The glacier ice will collapse. After the collapse of the ice, this is at least the size of a Manhattan. Manhattan Island in New York is so big, this process is then simultaneously inside. Once the glacier break it, then the new front break. Much farther than 40 years. Also see no forward. It simply go out into the upstream, go forward, slowly up from the shore. They want to track this stuff. He said that if your nails, it is the coastline, that your nails a little bit of that white. Usually we have to cut those nails. Split out right does not matter. However, if the nail and then extend outside, that fingers are broken. How to do that? It is very serious. So in 2000, when they Larsen ice shelf in the Antarctic Peninsula. Larsen A with B. They saw an ice shelf. Larsen A, Larsen B. The ice shelf did not see. It has melted away. This was in 2000, when. So they do not want. It is seen that nails, in front of white gone. Nails also gone the blue. So he now. In this Pine Island. Matsushima hoped that similar things will not happen. So they American. Implement this ice bridge in 2016. Took note of the crack. They studied the crack. Hope we will not continue to crack down. He hopes the snow cracks at a certain degree. After the above snow covered. It is good to make up good. So under this situation, if you see the cracks, has been extended stretches into, then split. After the split becomes like this child does not see. A hole will not see the hole not seen. So in order to protect this, the front end of the ice shelf above, front and rear glacier, from then generate this phenomenon. She does not wish to continue to crack down right thing. There are cracks on the dangerous, so they and the aircraft, DC-8 see this crack. The Pine Island Glacier is currently in front of the ice. Representatives are saying, there is a financial phenomenon still pending. Currently you see it now continues to go in depth, see a body of water, then see if there is no such cracks. So this time ice bridge plan. Hope this data. Detection entire Antarctic ice sheet. The entire Antarctic ice sheet. Detection of the Antarctic ice sheet is over. This data provides reference. As what sea level? Hope it will not continue to rise bad. This is our movie Dear Boo. Well talked about this movie. Because time is very limited. Not much time. We probably talk about this. I will give you see a picture. For everyone to see a picture. This is the South Pole. Points with West Antarctica, East Antarctica. West Antarctica below. I give you last see a map. Removed after the entire ice. The movie looked too late. The following is the entire Antarctic. Is like. It is indicated, says, just 1,513. Antarctica map showing up. The area is not shown in this picture. If so, representatives are saying. This is our scientists, last displayed. We represent a number of years ago. Is there a higher wisdom? To access it over the Antarctic. This matter is left to think we go the length of the. Thank you for watching again later.